Welcome to Days at Dogwood Canyon, a nature podcast brought to you by Dogwood Canyon Audubon Center in Cedar Hill, Texas. This is a podcast that will take you into our 200-acre wildlife preserve in the heart of the DFW Metroplex. Take a quick weekly break with us and get outside with the fresh air, the trees, and of course, the birds. My name is Kirsten, and I'm Center Coordinator Community Programs here at Dogwood Canyon Audubon Center. Welcome, listeners, to our Days at Dogwood Canyon podcast. This is a podcast about nature, birds, plants, and us. We will talk about how we all rely on each other to live our best lives. This month's Birds of Dogwood Canyon episode will be about the mourning dove. This is a bird that is found throughout North America and is a permanent resident here in Texas. Now, doves are a bit of a controversial bird. There seems to be only two emotions associated with this bird: love or hate. When you love them, you love everything about them. Their soft cooing calls, their dusted gray-brown coloration, and their peaceful ways with each other. But if you hate them, everything about them drives you crazy. That ridiculous cooing noise that they make as soon as the sun is even thinking about rising above the horizon, their stupid dull brown color, and the fact that they just seem to make stupid decisions about everything they do. Now, I have been on both sides of this fence. As a teenager, I had a couple that roosted outside my window in our wisteria. And on my weekends, I couldn't sleep in because they were relentlessly cooing as soon as the sun was up. I mean, really, didn't they know it was Saturday? As I have matured and learned more about animal behavior, I've changed my perspective a bit on doves and pigeons in general. I've come to embrace them for the amazing birds that they are, even with all their flaws. Now, mourning doves are a medium-sized bird measuring about 12 inches and weighing in at about 4 to 6 ounces. That's actually pretty light for a 12-inch bird. Their coloration is mainly brown, but it's different shades of brown, and they can be quite beautiful. Their wings are a darker shade than the rest of their body, and the head down the back is a brown mixed with kind of a light gray. Their underparts are a pinkish brown. Their short, slender beaks are black or dark gray, and their feet are typically pink. They have large dark brown to black spots on their lower wings that can be seen when they're at rest. And if you look closely at their face, you will often see a small slash or dot of black on the cheek. In most regions, this bird is a permanent resident, but those found in the northern U.S. and in Canada are migratory. They will fly south for the winter. These birds have fared well with human sprawl and are often found in open fields, parks, and neighborhood lawns. They are excellent at ignoring us and utilizing many number of man-made structures for their own use. They typically eat seeds and will take wild or cultivated seeds. They are frequent visitors to bird feeders and can eat almost any kind of seed. When they consume seeds, they do not take the time to crack the shell and eat only the meat inside. They actually swallow the seed whole. And they can do this because, unlike other songbirds, mourning doves, and all species of doves, have a gizzard that helps them grind up food. A gizzard is a muscled pouch attached to the esophagus that birds use to grind up food. If you don't have a gizzard, you have to crack open seeds before you swallow them. Mourning doves will also eat insects, various vegetation, and some animal matter. They forage almost exclusively on the ground, with the exception of some individuals that have figured out how to balance on a bird feeder perch, which is another reason why some people don't like them. The mourning dove, spelled Mourning, gets their name from their call. To some people, it sounds like they're sad and in mourning. One of my favorite things about mourning doves is how they drink. Most songbirds must scoop the water with their beak and tip their heads back to drink, allowing gravity to pull the water down their throats. Now think back to times when you've been at bird baths or watching birds drink at a puddle. Think about it. Now you remember, they do that. Mourning doves don't have to do that. They have suction. They can drink just like we do when we use a straw. So next time, watch a dove when you see them approaching water for a drink. They will place their beak in the water, and you can actually see the muscles in their neck move as they suck up the water. That is so pretty cool. Now just wait, there are more amazing facts coming up. By the end of this episode, you're going to love this bird. During breeding season, mourning doves bond strongly with their mates and are monogamous. Now, this doesn't always mean that they mate for life, but if they have a good season of chick rearing, they will stay together. If nesting and chick rearing fails, for whatever reason, they may go their separate ways. But they don't have a lot of time to waste because mourning doves, on average, live only about 2 years in the wild. Now, once the pair has picked a suitable nesting site, I'll get back to this comment in a moment, the female makes the nest while the male flies around gathering nesting materials. Typically, 2 white eggs are laid and are incubated by both adults for about 14 days. Okay, now let's discuss that suitable nesting site comment. I could hear your eyebrows raising as soon as I said suitable nesting site. Is my car windshield a suitable nesting site? What about the lip of the dumpster outside the restaurant I work at? The 3 sticks loosely gathered on the end of the branch in my front yard? Are these suitable nesting sites? It really is amazing the places these birds pick to lay their eggs. So I have just filed that away as one of the endearing flaws that these birds have, but some people, it just annoys them. There really is no good explanation for it, but mourning doves usually lay 3 clutches a year. That's 3. 1, 2, 3. Most songbirds will lay 1, and if it's a good year, 2. But mourning doves, 3. So they only lay 2 eggs at a time, and their growth rate once they hatch is pretty fast. So if they have a nest failure, they'll probably still be able to raise at least 4 young a year. That's good. So we can kind of chalk this poor nest placement behavior up to nature's control method. Since they do breed frequently, it could be one of the reasons for this behavior. Sometimes we just don't have all the answers, and we just have to accept it with a smile. One other very cool thing about mourning doves is that they produce milk for their young. For the first week of their lives, dove chicks survive on the crop milk produced by both mom and dad. Dove crop milk is not like mammalian milk. It's more like cottage cheese, and it's actually the lining of the crop sloughing off. So not like mammalian milk really at all, and you're never going to see dove milk for sale in the dairy aisle of the grocery store. But young doves love it and need it. This crop milk is full of nutrients that set the chicks up for a successful life. It's one of the biggest hurdles for rehabbers to overcome when they get very young doves. Without that crop milk, doves often don't survive. So next time you hear that cooing noise that either drives you crazy or makes you happy, remember some of the cool things you just learned in this episode and smile. Mourning doves really are amazing birds. Now, where can you see mourning doves at Dogwood Canyon Audubon Center? The best place to see them is in our Canyon View area. We have feeders there, and when the seeds fall on the ground, the mourning doves take advantage. You do have to stand up and then look down to the ground under the feeders to see them, but sometimes you can see them sitting in the tree branches level with the viewing area. So listeners, I hope to see all of you out at Dogwood Canyon Audubon Center soon, looking for the mourning dove.